What? My wife and I had nothing when we first got married, and we have been married for more than 30 years. She didn't marry me for my money, unlike what some people believe. In addition to having little money at the time, we were heavily indebted because I was in the middle of business and had lost my second company. The $800,000 in bad debt was a valuable lesson, and we were able to pay it all off in the end. How to settle debt as soon as feasible. Since a credit card isn't the issue, I think it's absurd that many people advise you to stop using them. To be honest, I adore credit cards. Pay attention until the end of this video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more informative and interesting content. Let's begin with the steps to get out of debt. The first step is to be honest with yourself. Since Kim never went through a financial catastrophe like I did, I believe that was one of the most difficult things I've ever had to do. Until I got money. She couldn't understand that someone could be driving a Mercedes and be absolutely poor. I was feigning debt-free living while praying to God and Jesus for the money to come. He was impoverished while eating at the greatest places and looking fantastic. You're not allowed to lie to your wife, but you're allowed to lie to your girlfriends. My first task with Kim was to finally tell her the truth, which was that he wasn't as wealthy as he appeared to be. You must be honest with yourself, because without knowing where you are, you'll never reach your objective of where you want to be. The second step is to immediately cease accruing credit cards. That occasionally necessitates a minor sacrifice. Kim and I were destitute and living in a basement apartment when we relocated from Hawaii to California. Due to a lack of funds, we occasionally had to flee. Kim had around $2 to carry her through the weekend until Sunday night, when I arrived home. Creating a list of all your debts is the third step. The word all is crucial. The reason she gave me a strange look when I used the term all was that I was hiding a large amount of debt from her. She eventually asked me why I was reluctant to tell her how terrible things were, yet I persisted in paying payments here and there. We eventually had to get down and list all the investors I owed money to, along with all of my family members and friends, since I was already in my final business transaction. She made me sit down and write everything down since I felt guilty about not paying them sooner. Additionally, if you don't pay your credit card company, they may become quite irate. In order to approach her and essentially speak the truth, I had to show her the invoices I was receiving. The fourth step is crucial, and if you're heavily indebted, it's certainly one of the most crucial ones you should undertake. Employ a bookkeeper. I attempted to write my own novels on occasion, but I avoided facing reality because I was too anxious, ashamed, and angry over my large debt. In addition, I wasn't particularly detail-oriented and felt like a mess. When Kim and I eventually went to speak with my wealthy father, he advised against hiring an accountant. I initially believed it was too costly, but my wealthy father informed me that although the poor don't maintain proper records, the wealthy have accountants. This is step number 5, and it will provide a visual depiction of your debts when you have a list of all of them. Just write the creditor's name in the quadrant's upper left corner. Take my Visa card, for instance. The entire amount owing will be written in the top right corner. The minimum amount you must pay each month will be written in the lower left corner, and the total amount owing will be divided into monthly installments in the lower right corner. For instance, you might enter a minimum monthly payment of $100, a total amount owing of $2,000, and 20 monthly payments in the Visa card column. Since the total amount due divided by the minimum monthly payment equals 20, this indicates that it will take me 20 months to pay off this debt. To determine how many months it will take you to pay off each loan, you will make this graphic for each one and check it every day. It's crucial to consult your workbook to ensure you understand everything. We had nothing when I first met you. We went from having nothing to being financially independent in 10 years. I was 47 and she was 37. This is the advantage of concentrating on assets rather than obligations. The majority of individuals are so preoccupied with earning money, attempting to pay their obligations, and purchasing liabilities that they mistakenly believe they are assets. We are now financially free because Kim learned this lesson from the first present she read. If one puts their mind in the appropriate frame of mind, anyone can succeed. I enrolled in my first real estate investing course when we first met in 1973. I recovered the money I lost, but I kept the assets. Many people who are unable to earn $1,000 do so because they are not prepared to do it on a mental, emotional, spiritual, or physical level. We battled to make $1,000 at one point, but if we hadn't, Kim and I wouldn't be making several $1,000,000 now. Therefore, whenever we face a challenge, we needed to rise beyond it. Many people who have $1,000 problems won't fix them until they become larger than $1,000 on a personal, mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical level. The little circle number is used to determine the sequence in which you will pay off each loan, which is number 6. The number in the smallest circle you have will be your starting point. Shouldn't I pay off my highest interest rate first? Is a common question. You don't have to do this, but I don't want to keep the ones with the highest interest rates much longer. What you desire from this recipe is a speedy outcome that indicates it is effective. The shortest debt you have, or the one you can pay off the quickest, is where we start. You will be inspired to continue when you see that outcome and know the method is effective. We begin with the smallest number because of this. As they say, the goal is to pay off the debt as quickly as possible, not to pay the interest. Considering the typical individual, they have a job and earn money. The money they spend to pay for their home is transferred to a bank via mortgage. Since money is leaving, this is a liability rather than an asset. An asset is anything that puts money in your pocket, whereas a liability is something that takes money out of it. Therefore, I benefit financially if I own a rental property. The house is a burden if I live there because, while not having any debt, I still have to pay taxes, depreciation, upkeep, insurance, and other expenses. However, it will pay me each month if I rent a property and have done a good job of purchasing and structuring it. When I was 25, I began doing this. I placed $25 in my pocket and owned a modest condominium. It was a nice debt and a start. I was earning money from my little residence each month once the loan was canceled and paid off, which also placed $25 in my pocket. My wife and I now own 6,500 homes, which helps us out financially each month. Although all of this is due to debt, the residents of those homes are content since they have a place to live. It's all debt. We have 100% finance. This is excellent debt, and 3 key terms, cash flow, are what define good debt. Rather re-entering debt or just using the borrowed funds for anything, we achieve financial independence. However, we engage in a cash flow game, similar to Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Instead of spending that money, we continue to purchase more bonds and stocks in the real estate market. In this scenario, we invested all of that money. In essence, we use debt to pay down our debt and create revenue. Kim and I now own multiple homes, 7 cars, and a private plane, but we pay for all of this with cash flow from our assets rather than credit cards. We have a consistent income from our investments rather than debt. As a result, our assets exceed our obligations. Purchasing obligations initially and then attempting to purchase assets later is the primary cause of many people's problems. They keep making purchases and taking on bad debt since this never works. Rather, I use my riches to purchase bonds so that I may live a luxurious lifestyle. The nicest aspect is that we just have more and more money pouring in all the time, so we don't have to worry about money or anything else. Discipline and commitment are necessary for this procedure. Recall that it's a procedure that takes you from your current location to your desired destination. Without commitment and self-control, the procedure will fail. To help others see the reality, I urge you to tell everyone about this. I encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. I Want to Be Rich. If you want to learn more about how to get riches and improve your financial situation, you may discover helpful information about investing, saving, and enhancing your personal finances on this channel. In order to assist you reach your financial objectives, you may also benefit from a knowledge and counsel professionals in the fields of business and finance.